Alright, let's go. Number 7. The universe is actively leaving us. We all share a deeply comforting, permanent assumption about the cosmos when we look up at the night sky. We believe that the stars and galaxies twinkling above us are permanent landmarks of reality, cosmic structures waiting patiently in the darkness for human technology to grow powerful enough so that we may one day start travel and explore them. We assume the cosmic arena is static, holding its ground. This assumption is completely wrong. In modern cosmology, the universe is not just expanding, it is accelerating, driven by a mysterious repulsive cosmic pressure known as dark energy. The very fabric of space is stretching at an exponential rate. The terrifying consequence of this acceleration is a physical boundary known as the cosmological event horizon. Because space itself can stretch at any speed, the distance between Earth and the farthest galaxies is currently widening faster than the speed of light. To understand how disturbing this is, imagine a lone message in a bottle thrown into a roaring, widening ocean. If the water between you and the bottle expands faster than the bottle can float towards you, that message will never reach your shore, no matter how much time passes. This is exactly what is happening to cosmic light. Right now, entire clusters of thousands of galaxies are crossing our event horizon. The light those stars emit at this exact moment is trying to fly toward Earth, but the universe is stretching the space beneath that light faster than the photons can travel. They are past the point of no return, violently severed from our future history. What makes this realization a source of absolute existential dread is that reality is actively abandoning us. We are living in a temporary cosmic privilege. Trillions of years from now, any intelligent species inhabiting our galaxy will look up at a completely black, empty night sky. Every single neighboring galaxy will have slipped beyond the horizon forever. Future astronomers will possess no physical evidence that other stars ever existed, condemned to live out their eternity trapped on a lonely island of dying matter, surrounded by an infinite, impenetrable wall of silent darkness. Number 6. The tyranny of entropy. We naturally share a deeply comforting, intuitive assumption that time is an independent, sovereign river flowing steadily from the past into the future. We believe that the cosmic timeline is built into the fundamental laws of nature, forcing the universe to march forward. This assumption is completely false. If you look closely at the deepest, most successful equations of modern physics, from Isaac Newton's mechanics to Albert Einstein's relativity, and the bizarre mathematics of quantum mechanics, time is completely symmetric. The mathematics of the cosmos works perfectly well whether time runs forward or backward. According to the foundational laws of reality, there is no physical reason why a dropped glass shouldn't spontaneously reassemble, or why a scattered cloud of smoke shouldn't pull itself back into a burning cigarette. The only entity forcing time to march relentlessly in one direction is a brutal, unyielding law of physics known as entropy. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that in any isolated system, disorder and chaos must always increase. Heat disperses, structures collapse, and energy decays. Think of your own body right now. Your cells must constantly consume energy to artificially maintain a highly ordered state. Against this law, the moment you stop, your biology immediately surrenders to entropy, rotting and decaying back into environmental chaos. The terrifying revelation of entropy is that the flowing arrow of time you feel is not a sign of universal progress or a natural river. It is merely the physical measurement of the universe's slow, unavoidable death. Every breath you take, every thought you think, and every star that ignites is a destructive act that increases the total chaos of the cosmos, permanently burning up usable energy. Time is a crushing cosmic countdown timer leading to the heat death of the universe. Trillions of years from now, when the last star dies and the cosmos reaches maximum entropy, nothing can ever change again. And in a universe without change, the clock finally stops, freezing the cosmos into an eternal, featureless silence. Number 5. The quantum eraser. We all share a deeply comforting, intuitive assumption that time is a smooth, continuous fabric underlying reality. We believe that a second can be divided infinitely into smaller and smaller fractions, down to milliseconds, nanoseconds, and attoseconds, without ever hitting a bottom. We assume that no matter how deep you zoom into the universe, the steady, orderly march of before and after remains perfectly intact. This geometric assumption is completely wrong. If you keep zooming in, past the atoms and beneath the subatomic particles, you eventually hit a fundamental wall of absolute mathematical terror known as the Planck scale. The Planck time is approximately 10 to the minus 43rd seconds. It is the shortest, most fundamental unit of time allowed by the laws of physics, the time it takes light to travel a single Planck length in a vacuum. To understand how disturbing this threshold is, imagine a digital video being paused and zoomed in until you see the individual blocky pixels. If you were to somehow shrink an observer down past the Planck time, the smooth, predictable movie of our reality completely shatters. Space-time dissolves into a violent, chaotic, bubbling mess known as quantum foam. In this quantum foam, the rules of cause and effect are completely obliterated. The fundamental distinction between past, present, and future smears together into a storm of pure probability. Wormholes spontaneously open and close, and an event can happen before its cause. What makes this realization a source of profound existential dread is what it implies about the very foundation of your existence. The orderly progression of seconds ticking away, the chronological sequence of your memories, and the history of our species do not exist at the base code of the cosmos. Time is not a fundamental material used to build the universe. It is merely an emergent macroscopic illusion. It is a statistical blur that only appears because our biological bodies are too massive and too slow to perceive the terrifying, timeless, chaotic churn humming constantly just beneath the surface of everything. Number 4. Brain is a delayed movie projector. When you look around the room right now, your brain tells you something that feels completely obvious and undeniable. It tells you that you are seeing, hearing, and experiencing reality exactly as it exists at this precise moment. The screen in front of your face is here. The walls are here. The ambient sounds feel immediate, direct, and instantaneous. This deeply comforting assumption is a profound biological lie. The reason is simple. Your brain does not encounter the world in real time. It is locked inside a dark, silent skull, completely detached from the outside world, relying entirely on electrical signals sent by your sensory organs. And those signals take time to travel. Consider how your biology actually processes existence. Light hitting your eyes, vibrations entering your ears, and tactile sensations traveling up your nervous system all move at wildly different finite speeds. To understand how disturbing this is, imagine a live television broadcast where the video feed arrives 10 seconds later than the audio feed. To make the show watchable, an engineer must intentionally delay the audio so it matches the video. This is exactly what is happening inside your head. Your brain requires approximately 80 milliseconds to collect these fragments of delayed sensory data, process them, and artificially synchronize them so they make sense to your conscious mind. The existential dread of this fact deepens when you realize you have never once experienced the present moment. Because of this unyielding biological delay, you are trapped in a permanent state of lag, living your entire life in the past. By the time your brain finishes constructing the image of the world around you, that moment has already vanished forever. Worse, human memory is not a hard drive recording historical facts. Every time you recall a past event, your brain physically rewrites the data, changing details and inventing false information to match your current emotions. You are inescapably isolated from true reality, forced to watch a heavily edited, delayed movie inside a theater that is always running behind the rest of the universe. Number 3. Chronological exile. When we think about Einstein's theory of time dilation, the fact that moving faster through space slows down your clock, we naturally view it as a grand science fiction adventure. We imagine future astronauts boarding light-speed vessels, effortlessly leaping across generations to witness the advanced future of our civilization. This romantic assumption is a profound psychological illusion. The physics of extreme velocity is not an invitation to explore. It is a brutal, unyielding system of permanent exile. To understand the terrifying isolation of this reality, imagine boarding a spacecraft capable of traveling at 99.9% speed of light. You launch into deep space, travel to a star system located 5 light-years away, and immediately return to Earth. Because your extreme velocity forces your clock to a near crawl relative to the planet, your heartbeat, your breathing, and your watch all tick normally. You experience the entire round-trip journey in what feels like just a few short months. But outside your ship, the cosmos has been marching forward at its own unyielding pace. When you finally open the hatch and step back onto Earth, you will not be greeted by a welcoming committee. You will discover that a full decade has passed. If you had gone slightly faster or stayed out slightly longer, centuries would have evaporated. Everyone you ever loved has been turned to dust. The cities you knew have been rewritten by history, and the language you speak has become an ancient, dead dialect. You have successfully time-traveled into the future, but you have done so on a strict, irreversible one-way ticket. What makes this realization a source of absolute existential dread is that velocity is a weapon that severs you from your own species. You can push yourself forward, running ahead of time to watch the cosmos age rapidly around you, but you can never ever go back. The faster you run, the more of your own history you violently cut away, permanently trapping yourself as a temporal ghost, condemned to wander an era where you do not belong. Number 2. Reality arrives as information, not existence. We are biologically hardwired to believe that when we look at an object, we are interacting directly with its physical presence. You look at a massive mountain and assume you are experiencing its solid mass right now. You look at a bright candle across a dark room and believe you are sharing space with its burning flame. The universe feels immediate, physical, and tangible. But physics reveals a much stranger, more disturbing truth. Your eyes never actually interact with the things you think you see. They only interact with photons, tiny independent packets of light carrying late-arriving information across the void. To understand the terrifying separation of this reality, imagine a maritime lighthouse casting its beam across a stormy sea. If the lighthouse collapses into the ocean, the sailors on a distant ship will continue to see the bright, guiding light shining for several seconds, steering their ship by a ghost that has already been destroyed. This is exactly how humanity studies the cosmos. Every image captured by our most advanced telescopes, every star twinkling in the night sky, and every cosmic discovery is not the thing itself. It is merely a fragment of ancient code that survived a journey lasting years, centuries, or billions of years. The existential horror of this fact is that astronomy is not the study of a living universe, it is a branch of cosmic archaeology. When we marvel at beautiful galactic structures, we are desperately trying to reconstruct a reality using nothing but heavily delayed, distorted letters sent by objects that may already be dead. The universe you experience is not reality itself. It is simply a psychological illusion, the best interpretation your brain can build from incomplete ancient information, forcing us to live our lives interacting with a phantom cosmos that has already vanished forever. Number 1. The Wheeler-DeWitt Ultimate Verdict. We spend our entire lives operating under the ultimate, deeply comforting assumption that time is a dynamic, unfolding reality. We believe that the past is gone, the future is an unwritten blank canvas, and the present moment is a razor-thin line of existence where we possess the free will to shape our destiny. We feel time moving, ticking away in our chests. This grand biological assumption is the ultimate illusion. Despite centuries of advanced mathematics and cosmological breakthroughs, modern physics is harboring a catastrophic secret. At the deepest fundamental level of reality, time does not exist. In the 1960s, theoretical physicists John Wheeler and Bryce DeWitt attempted to combine the chaotic laws of quantum mechanics with Albert Einstein's general relativity into a single supreme framework, a theory of everything. The resulting mathematical equation worked beautifully, perfectly describing the state of the entire cosmos. But it contained one glaring, terrifying anomaly. The variable for time completely dropped out of the mathematics. The equation proved that the universe at its core is entirely static. To confront this mathematical verdict, physicists forced themselves to accept the block universe theory. According to the architecture of spacetime, your birth, the exact moment you are listening to these words, and your eventual death are not sequential events waiting to happen. They are static, permanent coordinates frozen simultaneously inside a four-dimensional block of spacetime. Nothing is unfolding, nothing is moving. The future has already happened, you just haven't arrived there yet. The passage of time you feel, the agonizing pain of regret, the fleeting beauty of youth, and the illusion of choice is nothing more than a crude biological hallucination. It is a translation mechanism created by a limited human mind trapped inside an unmoving reality. You do not die and you do not grow old. You are simply a permanent, unchangeable feature printed onto the timeless fabric of a universe that was written from the very beginning, leaving us to live out our lives as characters in a book that has already been closed forever.